and speaker introduction. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 75th session of our speaker series, Beyond Research, where curiosity meets conversation by Biopractify. And this initiative brings researchers and professionals from across the world to share insights with the students and early career scientists. Today, we are excited to host a session on building career in global biotech lessons from journey in research and industry. Without taking much time, I would like to now introduce our speaker for today. And it is a pleasure to introduce our speaker, Mr. Shubham Sahu. And Mr. Sahu is currently working with Alveole in Paris, a French biotechnology company that develop tools for creating reproducible cell culture environments for biological research. And he completed his PhD in biophysics from Institut Curie in Paris and holds a master degree in interdisciplinary life sciences from University Paris Descartes. He also earned his engineering degree from NIT Warangal. His work spans across molecular biology, biophysics, microscopy, and microfluidics. Today, he will share his insights from his journey in research and global biotech industry. And thank you, Mr. Sahu. Thank you for joining us today, and the stage is all yours. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vineet. Guys, like I said before, like feel free to stop me because I wanted to like it's written in the thing. I want it to be more like a
Yeah.
discussion. There's for me, it's much more useful to talk about what I did, and I thought that would be useful because every student or everyone has their own path. Whatever, if I can talk about my field and everything, but for me, that's not going to be as useful as talking about all the decisions I made to reach here. And for sure, that might not be the same for you. This would definitely change for every single student because the opportunities change over time. What I chose at some point in my career, it's long gone. Like it's old, it's archaic. You have much more chances. Things are evolving super quick. So I thought for this session to be more like a discussion where I can talk about the choices I had to do, choices I made, and where I reached now, and what was my thinking while making this decision, and to help you, okay, if you end up in the similar path, or actually even in any other path, to tell you that, oh, there will be different times that you'll have to make different decisions, how to think about them, what are the different processes, and basically everything is different. Like, so yeah. So I'm just gonna start. Okay, give me a second. I need to share my slides. And the slides are very simple. It's there's nothing big there. Okay, so could you see my slides?
Yes, they are visible.
Okay, so it's not a presenter view, right?
No, it's full screen slideshow.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So basically, like I mentioned before, I mean, I want to start by thanking Vineet for reaching out and giving me this chance to like about this. And when he contacted, actually, I first asked him, okay, how is this thing works? What do you do? Because when I checked the old the sessions, they were all very different. So what I realized is that Vineet gives every user or like every speaker a different the freedom so that everyone can choose whatever they want to present. So that's why, and I talked about like during the last time that I wanted to talk about the journey, how it was, and to tell you that I was actually pretty confused during all the choices I had to do, and it's completely fine to be confused and to not know what you want to do the next step. So yeah, and so yeah, like I mentioned before, I'll talk about what path I took, what are the choices I made, and yeah, I mean it's and like I said, the time has changed a lot now, so it might not hold exactly the same thing for you. But then again, it has actually improved for the better, because there has been a lot more democratization of information, the move actually, and the boom in social media and much cheaper internet compared to the time earlier. You have much more resources available to make much more decision, like, and much more informed decision, like much better informed decision. So yeah, to start with, I mean, I come from Kanpur, so I think a lot of people know about this because of the IIT, I'm guessing. So the cool, or like actually the thing about Kanpur is that there is nothing else to do apart from study, because it just has good educational opportunities, but nothing else. So it was not a bad thing to grow up there for that purpose. And yeah, to start with, as I think pretty much everyone here is Indian, if I'm correct. Vineet, can you correct me? If
Yeah, we have some
eh,
participants from
yeah,
outside of India as well, but yeah,
okay.
majority Indian.
So so yeah, basically yeah. So I mean, I for my 12th, I took PCMB because my parents wanted me to take PCM, but I like biology, so I was like, let's take both. And so I was not an exceptional student by any chance. I had 92%. This was good, but not really an exceptional score. And so yeah, it's just saying that it's like you don't have to have an exceptional knowledge. Then after that, like I joined for at my time there was AIEEE, IIT different. So that's I think now it's JEE mains and JEE like different ones. So yeah, it's just a different system now. Like I said, I come from an archaic system, not the same. So I joined like for my bachelor's, I joined NIT Warangal. So I took a BTech in biotechnology, and honestly, that was looking back, that was the most important period of my life. The reason I'm saying this is because of all the people I met in Indian institutes, because you live inside the campus. So you have always, you're talking to different students, and particularly in IIT Warangal, we don't have the same system as in different IITs, that we are not divided by different halls. So there's one big hostel or something, and you're talking to everyone. So this helps you to know everything about from different events happening. Your group is much larger. You're talking to wide variety of people, not just in your own trade, pretty much with everyone, and also seniors actually, because that was one of the best thing about NIT Warangal is that I was always talking to the seniors, and with that, I knew, so not just from my own like biotech branch, but in different branches, because I knew what are the different future possibilities that are available. So that was actually great. So yeah, this is one advice I would give you if you are like someone who is in bachelor's at the moment, is that yeah, be proactive, like make friendships uh, to as many people as possible. Like talk with your seniors, ask what they're planning to do, what they do, and then also alumni. Most of the institutes now they have a very big alumni network, and it's always great to know from the alumni that oh, what are they doing, what they would do, or I mean, what they would recommend you to do. So that's actually great, and do participate in as many events as you can. Like I remember during my time in bachelor's, I was in a couple of different clubs. We were always hosting some events, some inside the institute, some outside the institute, with the local governments. And so it brings like the other part that you are not learning in the college, like the soft skills. And these are the things that would help you in later in life much more than the technical knowledge. Because when you join any company, like doesn't matter which, they will teach you the technical knowledge because they know that you have the basics that you learn from your courses. But after that, they will also teach you what they want you to do. But soft skills is one thing that it's not easy to learn, and so you have to develop it a long time. So do participate in as many events as you can. It's super nice. You will make new friends and also learn how to talk to people, present yourself. That's obviously always great. So yeah, I mean, and finally, like during this end of the bachelor's, most of my classmates, actually pretty much everyone switched to management, finance, or different software jobs. As I mean, in most of the NITs and IITs, like they all have a super successful careers. And I learned like a great deal from them even while I was there and everything. But at the moment, at that time, I was much more interested into research and actually core field. So, and particularly traveling abroad. And luckily in biotech, there's a lot of the biotech scene in India is not that was actually not that dynamic at that time. I think now it's changing and it's much better. And it was much more vibrant in Europe, particularly in US. So yeah, like most of the students at that time, um, I started the mass emailing actually to different professors, see what are the opportunities, applied for different scholarships. So yeah, and during this like time, I was mostly focused on Europe and the US. I think roughly I did around 1,000 emails or something. I made an Excel, put all the names, what I was interested in. So the bad thing is this that people like or most of the professors in Europe, they are aware of this. And generally now I'm here so I can know from professors and everyone, they get, and I kid you not, roughly 50 to 60 emails every day from Indian and Chinese students. So at the moment, the email box is filled. So, and most of them are super generic, and particularly after AI, after ChatGPT. So if you want to be seen, if you want to get internship, please make it um, very directed and like make it more personal. And that's when they actually read and reply and they might allow you to come. So yeah, basically I did the same thing as most of the students do. I emailed in bulk. Luckily, one of the professor from US, he replied to me. So he had two labs, one in China, one in UCLA. And he said, okay, look, my lab in US does not have money to host you. However, my lab in China can pay for your travel and everything. So I got small scholarship from my college, and rest of the things were covered by my professor. So yeah, I got like a good internship. So I was working on mostly like proteomics of plants. My work, like plants, was really a small part of it, maybe 10%, and I was mostly working on uh, transcriptomics and plant molecular biology. So that was super nice. Actually, to be honest, by far, now I've been working for a long time. It has been the most advanced labs in terms of equipments I worked in. They had shit tons of finances. Um, you would be quite surprised at how much money does like China invest for in the research. This is almost the different story in Europe, not in US, but it's going towards that direction. And the type of work, it's super nice. So yeah. So if someone is going through or it's in this phase where they want to look for internship abroad and you have applied to different programs, my advice would be that if one, like you make the list of programs and then you apply to that in case it doesn't work. Like for me, it didn't work. So yeah, you do mass emailing, but then again, those mass emailing should also be very personalized because now things have changed, and if you have to stand out from most of the users or like most of the other students who are actually applying. So yeah, be original. I would recommend, and talk to your seniors. That's if you've been abroad like this, talk to your seniors. That's not a bad idea, and they will help you. Like and they can recommend you what to do next, and always reach out to as many people as possible. Talk to most people. So yeah, that would be my advice who is looking for internships abroad. So yeah, and so moving on. So for the next part, basically I went for my bachelor's. I got an exchange scholarship to do a Erasmus Mundus. So I had a 1 year exchange in UK. So that was great because I did my internship during summer in China after my third year. And for the fourth year, I came back to India in like a couple of weeks, or I don't remember roughly the time, but in a few weeks, I was going to US. The cool part was that everything was paid. Like and there are actual programs like this that can they will pay your tuition fee, they will pay your they will you will get a stipend for your living expenses. So yeah, I got one of those. So there's something you can also do while you are in your bachelor's and or in your master's. Sorry. So yeah, these are for both programs, and there are a lot, like particularly for Europe. I'm aware that they exist. I'm not sure they exist for US or like North America. So that's something to be checked. Yeah, and just a piece of advice that for me particularly, that's this transition was honestly one of the most difficult ones because what we have in India, like a theory that yeah, I mean in India, we work much more harder, the work conditions much more difficult. In Europe, it's easy. I kid you not, that's the farthest away from the truth. Like that's not really true because the 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 thing is, um, it's a different education system in India, and it's a different education system in Europe, from my understanding. Uh, so in Europe, they give you a lot of autonomy. Basically, here the courses, um, which will be much less like our courses are like we have a lot of courses, we have a lot of assignments. You are going from one assignment to next assignment. It's a lot of work to do. But then in the end, at least during my time, everyone was copying everyone else's assignment, and you just turn it in. It's just a matter of finishing one assignments and finishing everything, and you're busy, but you're not learning things new. What happens here is that there is a very limited amount of course. The assignments or the lectures are mostly based to make you think. So they will give you assignments, but at the same time, oh yeah, and they will let you free. So if you need help, they will actually tell you, but you will have to submit. Sorry, is there someone? Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what also happens is that, yeah, so when you hand it in, they have to go through plagiarism checker. That means basically they check the similarity between your assignment is done all through the software. And that's 2016. So it's been a while back, 2015, 2016. And they check the similarity between assignments. And it's a legal offense. So you can actually go to jail if your assignment is similar to other student. So they make sure that every student does things on their own and they think, and that's a different system. And so this is the educational part. But also, I mean, if you're like me, it was the first time in my life that we did not have any canteen or a mess. So that basically means that you end up cooking for yourself, apart from the education that is like always a bit different. But like cooking, washing your clothes, dishes. So I prepared a small meme that we always joke about when we are in Europe, like what it means to study abroad. Is that yeah, in the end, you're always cooking, you're washing your dishes, and you're doing like everything on your own. So yeah, it's a piece of like caution. It's great to stay like outside, learn new things and everything. But then again, if you are someone who is moving from the bachelor's to master's or master's to PhD and think and actually is planning to go abroad, do learn some level of cooking and like how to say like cooking, like all the basic things that you have to do as a grown up. So yeah, that's one piece of advice. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Should I go on or does someone has any questions? Okay, so I will continue. So yeah, for my master's, actually, so now like when I finished my bachelor's, I had I was thinking about okay, what to do next. So I had an engineering course. I had choices to go to switch the field, become in management finance. Like I said, in the core that there was not that many opportunities in India or go abroad for masters. But while looking at the cost and everything, I decided that I had mostly two choices, Germany and France. One, the cost of living is much lower than UK and US, and the tuition fee of the program itself was almost next to nothing. To give you just like a rough number, during that time, I'm not sure how much is it now, to do a master's in UK. I think it was around for 1 year, the tuition fee was, if I'm not wrong, around like 15 to 18K pounds, which in Indian money comes around at that moment. So I know the rate has changed now, like 18 lakh or something like that. So it's around that number. While in France, I paid 300 euros, which for that rate at that moment was like 25K, so 20, 25,000 actually, which is lower than most of the Indian education. I paid higher for my tuition fee in India for the year. So yeah, so the tuition fee was like next to nothing. So that became quite clear. Um, and then there was another big part. Like basically, I was looking for like after those experiences that I had during my bachelor's, I wanted to know more. What does actual research entails? Like what are the different options I have? And so yeah, I reached out to like all the programs I applied. I basically reached out to alumni and the current students studying in their masters. So I harassed them by at that moment Facebook, LinkedIn, and checked, okay, and I sent all of them a message. Most of them didn't reply. Some of them did actually. And I was like, okay, will you tell me what are the students doing? What are the things to do? So yeah, I had a bit more clarity about all the masters and if I should join them or not. So that was quite nice. And yeah, so I went to this special master's program, which basically had an inverted classroom thing that for one semester, um, there were courses out of the 4 semesters of 2 years. And then the rest, all 3 semesters, like 1.5 year, you do internships. So I had the chance to do 4 internships. That means also I had a lot of work experience. And so yeah, this was my choice because like the advice I would give, like see what you want to figure out from masters, be proactive. like check, okay, what do you need? Like talk to seniors again. So yeah, I worked on that today. So this is in collaboration with the company. So I worked in an institute, engineering institutes in RS. So it's like directed evolution of polymerases. And actually the year after, there was a Nobel Prize in that field. Then I worked for IGEM, which is a international competition in US. So we had a team, we raised the funding, and we did the project. Then I also worked to develop a new paper-based microfluidic device for point of care diagnostics. And there was another project which I was working with zebrafish. So basically, this way I got to know that yeah, there are different things available, and it was quite a nice experience. Yeah, coming next. So yeah, after my master's, I like basically like this. Yeah, so I met at the end of my master's, I met my then PhD supervisor, who just moved on in the building I was working in from US. So he started his new lab, and I really like the person, and I was like, okay, sure, let's like. So I decided to join the PhD in an empty lab. So we basically built the lab from scratch. Uh, um, like there were two more other students along with me, like one postdoc, actually two postdocs. So that was quite a nice experience. Yeah, if someone is actually in this zone where someone is moving from master's to PhD, what I would recommend to you is that um, PhD is hard on its own. It's a difficult time. You will be busy. You will spend long hours in lab and everything. So please choose the person who you are, who's a nice person actually, and that you have a good time working in the lab. So I was lucky enough to meet a person who I like, who was like a mentor, friend. So my time in the PhD was super stressful and everything, but he made it as much possible as he can to make it nicer. And actually, so my PhD went great. Had one paper coming out in the third of the year, and we're working on the last, like the second one right now. And actually, so my PhD was on microRNAs, which basically after COVID turned out to be super trendy. And actually, if you see here on the back, so in my jury, which is here, so this is the person, actually, so this is my supervisor, and here's the person who won the Nobel Prize for discovering microRNA in the same year, the next year actually came for my defense. So what I'm telling you is that the work is great everywhere. What important, what is very important is that you're working with nice people, because otherwise it's gonna be it's already a difficult thing to do, PhD. So if you're looking for that, get ready for a lot of hard work. But at the same time, like do do talk to people to make sure that you are in a nice environment while you're working. Yeah. And finally, so after my PhD, I decided to quit academia for the moment. And then I joined the startup that I was talking about. So it's basically what my startup works on is we have a device that's called Primo. So actually, in this image, you can't see it. It's connected on the back side of the microscope, and then it allows users to engineer microenvironments. So then, if you are interested later, I can tell you why did I leave the research and about finding the like. Okay, so the question now comes is okay. A lot of users now ask, or like a lot of people, the students ask, okay, how did I find a job? And why did I take this job, like this particular position? So, I mean, it's basically because I went back to my PhD. I listed all the things that I like to do. Said, okay, I like really talking to people. I like fixing things. And like I mentioned, I started a PhD with an empty lab, so building stuff. So I was looking for the jobs, a different type of jobs that would allow me to do the same things because there's a lot of skills that you learn in while you're doing the PhD, and that really that should be your core to look for the job. Like, what do you like to do, and how can you actually get this in the job you're doing? Yeah, and I think I'm close to the end. I'm actually at the end of my presentation. So if you have questions later, we can talk. So yeah, like I mentioned before, so the take-home messages for the core, like for this sessions would be if you're looking for the next step of the career, be proactive. Don't wait for the end of your program to find what you want to do next. Think about it, reflect, discuss with people, find opportunities, talk to the neighbors. Soft skills are really important and they are as important as your technical training that during your programs. Like, and always think ahead. Like, what do you want to do even like in 5 years? And then do reverse engineering, like, then think backwards. Right? And yeah, do expect to work very hard. Don't think that, okay, now you've been to Europe or US, now you don't have to work as hard as that you were working. It's actually the opposite. You have to work harder. Then again, do apply much more than you can choose because a lot of my friends who apply for one thing and then they're waiting. A lot of time it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and that's a stressful time. So do apply more than what you need so that if you have more choices, you can choose. It's always better to have more choices in your hand than less. And yeah, and also one of the, yeah, I finished to write this sentence. So yeah, that's the next advice is from one of my supervisor, who is now or who has now a company, who they said, don't worry. If you have choices, just make one. You will regret no matter what. And that was actually quite useful because when times get hard, you always regret and say, oh, the other choice would have been better. And you will think about the same for everything. So what he told me is, yeah, work hard. In whatever you choose, just choose one. Everything is good. Like everyone does great work. And then, yeah, there's never a right way. I mean, everyone is different. So you will figure out um, like a good way for yourself. And yeah, the last advice that I'm saying, because now we receive a lot of applications, a lot of emails, and they're all the same because everything is written by ChatGPT. Not a single one is different. And in the end, we reject every single one. So even if one person has written by their own, we actually take that. So it's very important. Please do not lose your originality. Using AI is great. Use it as a tool, use it to improve your efficiency, but do not replace yourself. That would be my last piece of advice. Okay. So yeah, now if someone has any questions, because I've talked for too long, more than I like to.
Wonderful presentation, Shubham. And dear participants, like it is your chance to, get your queries answered, get your questions answered. You have, now learned about the journey of our speaker, right? So from that, like whatever, confusion that you have, you can just turn on your mic, you can, interact and ask your questions. You can even use the chat box and we'll take 3 to 4 questions only, right? So yeah, any questions?
Well, I'm a bit too shy today.
Am I audible, dear participants? I think Vishal is typing something.
Hello.
Hi,
Good evening, sir.
yeah, call me Shubham. Like it's yeah.
No, actually, sir, I'm very currently I'm pursuing my bachelor's in
Okay.
BSc Zoology from Life Sciences, and right now I was at the junction of choosing between bioinformatics and biotechnology. So I was
Mhm.
a bit confused. Like these are the fields that will eventually decide my research career. So I was a bit confused. What should I choose in my masters?
Okay, so it's a bit different actually. So one thing I can tell you, it never defines you. Like choose, like if you choose biotech, you can always do bioinformatics. It comes under biotech. But then again, like you can always switch later. The important thing is think about what you like to do most. So let's, for example, like in you're doing biology in biotech or some other field.
No, sir. In life sciences, specifically
Okay.
BSc Zoology.
Okay, yeah. So in just think about what you like to do most. Do you like to do more computational? Are you like, do you like more the coding part? So depending on your skills and what you want to do, you should do that. Like choose either, because both are good. Depends on you in the end what you like to do. Like most of my friends who were from bioinformatics or even actually mechanical engineers, so they are actually working in biotech fields. And
Mhm.
it's always, you can always move from one field to another. And even actually now in India, like at my time, it was a bit different. But most of the programs are interdisciplinary. So what it means is basically that to solve a project, like my supervisor was theoretical physicist,
Mhm.
and I was biologist by training. And so we were working on one project. So he had one part from it. So it's it's not just like that you need one type of people. So if you like more bioinformatics, you can always do this. But at the same time, even if you take biotechnology and then you want to do bioinformatics, you can always choose a project where you handle more bioinformatics part and do some other part. So it's both works. So I cannot give an answer for the reason that I'm not at your place. It depends on what you like. That's the first thing. Then depending on what are the opportunities next to you. So I would choose more on that basis.
Okay, thank you, sir. And also, it was so wonderful to hear you.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else has any question? If not, like I would also like to ask you a question, Shubham. Like while
Sure.
you were applying for your internship abroad, so you might have,
Uh,
came across a point where you felt, uh, you might have felt, discouraged. So how would you, say it to the students who just do, couple of mails, write point out couple of professors and just sit back and expect their answers? Like, what would you advise to them?
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So from what I remember during that time, I said I did around 1,000 emails, which was not even close to most of my seniors who said, okay, they did like 8 to 10,000 emails. So I mean, like generally you always keep a high threshold and then you go down. And I mean, uh, so obviously you feel sad when you're emailing, and most of the people do not reply. That's clear. And a lot of people reply and say, look, I mean, I don't have money. And if you want to come to Europe on your own expense, which costs a lot. So that was not an option for me. And yeah, I mean, the idea is just go ahead and like, okay, you just have to, it's like applying for jobs. I'm saying you just have to convince one person. even if 1,000 or 10,000 or actually 1 lakh said no, the next one person who will say yes is great. You have your thing. So start early, keep on applying. You just have to convince one person, and it's great. So yeah, it's don't like yeah don't feel disheartened. That's what I would say. It always works out in the end. Everyone I know, it really worked out. Um, the one thing I would say is choose the country depending on the expenses and everything and your personal thing and like personal condition. And then you don't have to apply just the west. You can also apply to the east. So now for the work, I'm traveling from, actually, I'm going a lot to Singapore, to like, I have a lot of to China. I've been twice, 3 times to China now. Um, I've been to East Brazil, Chile. There's quite nice research going on. So it's not just like Europe and the North America, like Canada and US. There's really like my company has the customers in Japan, they have in Korea, and like talking to the people and everything, I realize there's a lot of great science going on there. The, there's also much more funding, and you will increase your horizons, like you will increase your chances. So yeah, do look for also the East, not just the West.
That's actually like a great insight, because many a times they just they don't know, whether there are opportunities eastwards as well, right?
Yeah, that's something that yeah, we don't have. So
Bushra has a
Bushra,
question.
yeah, so it's like the question is, while applying abroad for internship or scholarship, other than the personalization of the email, what are the other things that should be in mind? So yeah, so like for me, like I mentioned, so I had two things. One, the email, like the internship. That's why I kept those two. I didn't put other experiences. One was email, which was the one in China, and then the second thing, Erasmus. So that was through a structured programs. So I don't know at the moment now what are the cases, but at my moment there was other programs. It's like my tax. My tax was there. There was DAD in Germany. There is the UTRIP in Japan, University of Tokyo. There was different programs, and now actually. At my time, there were like several great people who made a list and actually they shared it publicly. And there were a lot of seniors that had the access now. But now you have actually ChatGPT and everything. Like it doesn't give you an exhaustive list, but say, okay, I'm this student in this condition. What are the possible, like the next possibilities? Like what can I do next? And this gives you a list of things. And then again, it, it- you have to start early for that. So because these applications are done almost, if not 1 month, 1 year, it's like 10 or 8 months in advance. So make a list. There's a thing of, I know in US there's a program. I don't remember exactly, but yes. So these are different things. It's always about like finding the correct opportunity. Does that answer your question, Bushra? Or yeah, we can come back to it again. Otherwise, there was a hand raised. I think it was Tanmoy.
Yeah, Tanmay had a question, I think.
Yeah, good evening. That
Hey,
it was an excellent talk. So actually, my doubt was like, how did you find out the excellent interdisciplinary and highly research exposure course in the Europe?
for the
Like,
master, yeah, for
how
the
did you find out
masters.
that access course? Yeah, for the
Yeah,
masters.
okay. So basically, I mean, at that moment I was in UK already, so that helped. Like I was doing biomedical sciences, so my program was completely biomedical oriented. What I realized from my master's, for my bachelor's, is that okay, it's engineering. But I started liking research a bit, and I was looking for, okay, what are the next thing I can do? But I didn't know. For interdisciplinary, I talked to, actually, I was talking to seniors, I was talking to different people. I was looking a lot on Reddit, different sources at that time available, and I made a list for the programs which were inexpensive, so that do not have a high tuition fee. So France was one of the country, and what are the programs in English? So that came up. I basically had a list at that moment of like 100 or 150 programs, and then I like spent time, okay, what do I like from this program? What do I like from this program? So I made always like some plus points and different things of other program. So yeah, you have to make your own list. For me, interdisciplinary was cool because it fitted my background. I had biotech as my course, but then in Warangal, biotech means basically chemical engineering because most of like 70 or 80% of the course are chemical engineering course. Then I had an internship in plant molecular biology, so it really fitted my background, and I could sell myself more. Like, oh, I'm fit for this course, and uh, and it also like it goes back to my bachelor's, like I mentioned. I have always been interested into different fields. Like I did a project, like a small project, with a computer science professor during my bachelor's. So it was already like working with different people. So that always had been my interest. I was looking for something like this. And yeah, I mean, so every program brings a new thing. And that was one of the choice that I made that was really helpful at that moment. Does that answer your question, or did I move somewhere else? Did I not answer your question?
Yeah, it answered. Thank you so much.
There is. Yeah. So yeah, and if like I said, the programs now I know in last 5 years something there are more interdisciplinary programs. In Europe, there has been a shift. In US, there was always most of the programs were quite interdisciplinary because there's a lot of minors and majors and everything. In Europe, they have a good shift in last 5 years where a lot of programs are interdisciplinary and you can take multiple different programs. Like in France, actually, what is cool is that it's a public university, or most of the things are public, the education. That means even though you are a student in one university, like let's say if I was a student in NET Warangal, I can go to Warangal University, it's by law, and take the courses. So it's now even getting more and more in Europe. So people from different fields take different courses. Like I studied with a paleontologist, a law student, like people from computer science, chemistry, like hardcore chemistry. That's always the case that in Europe, like now, has gotten better. There's a question from Devika. So, as someone who has recently graduated and stepping into research with little prior experience, how can we start exploring research opportunities abroad? Hadivka, just to confirm, when you mean by graduated, you mean master's, bachelor's, PhD?
I'm a master, sir.
You finished your master's, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, and what are some? Okay, so that's one question. I'm just reading the whole question so that I understand it correctly. What are some qualities and experience that help an application stand out, especially at an earlier stage? Also, which platforms or resources we should okay, defining research installations or internship. Okay, so it's actually a great time at the moment. Right now, you are at the best time to do different things. And if specifically your idea is to go abroad, it's great because recently, I mean, we have seen that there is less and less people are continuing research. That means more chances for us, or like from like India and China or other country to move and find because there's more opportunities for doing if you want to do research. So if I was you, I would think about, okay, what do I like to do? So it's always about choosing the field, which is the most difficult part. So it's always figuring that out, then looking what are the programs, how much funding for PhD in general. I can tell you about France and Germany and mostly Europe. It's it has to be paid or it's paid, and generally your finances are covered. So at least you don't have to worry about this. The important thing is figuring out that do find, like I said, do find a good supervisor because I know a lot of my friends who, like personally, who actually quit their PhD because they were in a toxic lab. You work with one person, it's a super difficult time, like I mentioned during my presentation. So you will learn a lot, but at the same time, yeah, you'll have to do this. Sorry, and the qualities is basically, I mean, what you have been doing, like you have done the master, so you already have all the qualities that you need. What are the qualities and experiences? So generally, for any application, you have to write a cover letter or motivation letter. What helps is think about, so what I actually do with a lot of my students or like a lot of my friends who are applying for PhD, I ask them because in English, most of them have been reading the same motivation letter all the time. So they end up being the same that, oh, I'm interested into this. I've read this your paper. I've been always interested into biology since I was a kid in nature with the same points. What helps a lot is thinking about in your language, in another language where you haven't read the literature or you haven't read all the things that is available on internet and write those points down. I mean, I can say in Hindi, like I do it in Hindi with some people, like, why do you like to do this? So then in Hindi, you have originality, your own points that, okay, why you like to do this? And that is something new that will make you stand out. Bring your own personality in your letter. And that really, the professors really like that, actually. I know it happened recently. It was for, no, actually, it was for a PhD that one professor, like the professor I know, he got an application and the applications, the person who was applying for application did not fit directly. But then his motivation letter was so good, it was so original and was so different compared to all the ones he get, like AI, and it took him as a PhD. I mean, me particularly myself, I was a biologist. I liked the one project. It was completely different. I applied to theoretical physicist, and he took me as a PhD. And during my time, because I was through an international program of Curie, um, he had a choice between another student who was also a physicist. So it's really your thinking that why do you want to do this and bringing your own personality into it. For the platforms and resources, I would say it's so for every country it's different. For PhD, I know the French government recently launched a program where all the PhDs are given. The research positions and internship, it's really different. There's no one like platform. It's really a how to say a market, a fish market. You have to really it's like putting a bet always. So yeah, so the person Anushri, so for you is the same. If you're after the MSc in biotech, I would say figure out what you like. If you want, I'm just going to type my email um, and just send me an email later. We can have a discussion if you prefer. Um, so you can we can have um, like longer discussion so that I can answer other students too. Final architecture universe. Okay, wet lab. Okay, um, so I'm not sure who the person is. So you want to do a wet lab, but you want to do outside or inside India or in any other country? And then there is the question from Janko. It's, I don't know if I said the name correctly, so correct me later. In case I'm doing BSc in biomedical in Malawi, Africa, I would like to join research, continue my old school. Broad, I'm finishing next year. How can I position myself for that? Can join research. I mean, so I if you like to do research, it's a great time because the point of doing research is there is a much like there's a big push of getting students from abroad right now in like in Europe at least. So I don't know what you mean by abroad. If it's Europe, I can tell you that a lot of master's program. Actually, in last 5 years, there's a lot of new scholarships coming up, which didn't existed at my time. So I would recommend if you're in your final year, yeah, which is I'm guessing from your text, uh, check like what are the scholarships available. Do apply for all of them. That's right now is the best time to do that, and like apply as many as you can, and then talk to the people. Generally, for any scholarship, they always have the people who have been doing it last year. So you can always like reach these people out on LinkedIn, like Vineet reached out. So, and people are generally very happy to talk about themselves. I mean, it's always great. So you will get help. Like, do talk to as many people as you can. Like, it always helps to get more perspective. Coming back to M, so it's the question about abroad. So yeah, for the final year, basically, if your university allows to do internship abroad, you can always apply for 6 years internship abroad. So you have to be in your third year. Like one of my cousin is right now coming to France and it's completely paid to do an internship, his final year internship. So yeah, there's just reach out to people. There are a lot of different programs. You have to, depending on the field, there's so many programs that you will always have something. Like I said, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I can send you more resources. I don't have things on the top of my head, but there are a lot of master's program right now. Actually, there's a hand, Kavita. Can you say, can you, if you want to ask, you can ask now.
Yeah, you can speak up, Kavita. Maybe.
Yes, sir. Hello. Sir,
Hi,
actually, I
hello.
joined late, so I'm
No
sorry
worries.
that I could not
Uh,
listen
no,
your whole
no.
lecture, but I have one doubt about the postdoc. Sir, I
Sure.
have background in organic synthesis catalysis, seriously in chemistry background, and since long time I'm applying for the postdoc in abroad, but no single professor is replying in the positive way. They told that they don't have funding like that. So what if from my guide I have listen that if you apply in India, that the India is the gateway to the foreign, is like the National Institute. So is it true that directly because I completed my PhD 6 years before in 2019? So of course it is a gap, but in the gap I am working as an assistant professor in the government institute. But I want to do postdoc for because I want to apply in the university, and now I am applying for the postdoc. So in some countries, of course, there is a restriction to the long time PhD. But what
Mhm.
is the scope for us?
I mean, so if I understand correctly, you finished your PhD in 2019, and then now you are looking for a postdoc, and in the meantime, you have been working as a lecturer or a professor in one
Yeah,
of the university. Okay. I mean,
in
honestly,
college, government college.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so it's, I mean, the good thing is it's not a break. You have always been doing research. I think when people say I don't have money, it's a real issue. So there have been a lot of funding cuts, like in India, for research here. So to fund a postdoc, it's a bit more tricky than to funding a master or funding a PhD. It's a lot more expensive. So that's correct. The only thing I can tell you is, um, so the way when I was looking for postdocs, The way I did is I checked the people who I would like to do with. So I actually I would not recommend you the same thing that I recommended to the students in masters or in bachelors, because this is like you do mass and then when something works out, because you are still in the phase of exploration. When someone takes you as a postdoc, they really want you to produce results and you have all the skills. So what would be useful is that you figure out, okay, make the list of 10 to 15 people that you would like. It's a very small list as compared to all over the world. Read papers and tell them, okay, hey, I'm interested in your work. I would like to work with you, and propose them a project, actually, even if it's completely out of the bounds. Like, I mean, I applied for two postdocs actually. Um, and I got both of them. Again, I didn't join because I joined the academia. Sorry, I quit academia after that because of different reasons. But then again, I only applied for two. And the reason is always I came up with a random project. It just has to be something, because what is basically expected when you are as a postdoc in the lab, that you come with your own project or you come with your own thinking. They expect you to lead the project. So if you just say, oh, you want to work with them, that might not be great, or that might be one of the things that they don't want to reply. But when you say, okay, hey, I like this work, hey, I'm interested into this project and I can help you, or I want to do this with you, and it generally works. And then also there is the Marie Curie fellowships. There's a lot of different fellowships that are there. There is HFSP grants. There is EMBO fellowships. There are all the grants that can help. Even the professors don't have to pay. It pays for everything. So they just have to host you. So it's even better, and it looks much better on your CV. For this particular case, I think I have other people who are much more experienced, because I have a friend who just he will join ICER as an assistant professor. He just left. He's leaving Paris right now, and he did his PhD at ISC Bangalore. Then he came to France for his from the Marie Curie Fellowship for the postdoc. I can refer you to that. Please send me a text on LinkedIn or email me later. I can put you in touch with my friend, and he can direct you much better way, because he did a postdoc as well.
Actually, I tried through the AI also, means with the very similar topic of my research topic. I applied with the very similar professor, but
Uh-huh.
nobody is replying. Or even since not a 15, even 50 professors to I applied,
Mm.
but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
No,
why.
no,
Even my
it's
profile is also strong, sir. I have the publication in RSC and ACS, but
no, no, yeah,
not getting any positive.
trust me, it's really like I understand. It's frustrating. I'm not taking away anything from you. However, it's really about very small tweaks, and every country has their own ways. So it always helps to get, like I said, I mean, I can help you. I can take a first look at the things you are sending. But again, I think it would be best, or the person who is actually doing it or who has done it would be much better. So don't worry. What I can tell you is don't lose hope. You're already, I think your profile is very strong. I think it might be just a small tweaks of application on the emails here and there, and make sure that it's like original. That's what I would always go to. The like after AI, and because if I understand correctly, you are in AI, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, no, what I'm saying is, let's let me put you in touch. You can send me, you have the email, send me your like the CV that you sent,
Yeah,
and
yes,
the email that you're sending, because generally for this case, it's mostly the email and the CV.
yes, sir. In
Yeah,
your
I
email
can,
ID, I will send. I can send
sure,
you.
sure, sure. Yeah, just send
Yeah.
and just put the Biopractify on the top so that I know that you emailed from that one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean everyone here, I mean if you need anything like you want me to check for your things, send me the email join your CV or something and we can have a longer discussion.
Definitely. And also, I would just like to share with the participants that Mr. Shubham is quite, really active over these platforms, and he replies and is like really, open to collaboration. As I have also approached him through one of these channels. So, in the essence of time, Mr. Shubham, we would, like to, stop the questions from the participants because we would need a separate session just for this Q&As and yet their doubts related to study abroad. But once again, thank you very much, Mr. Sahu, for such an insightful session and for sharing your journey with us and your perspective on research, interdisciplinary science, and the global biotech ecosystem were truly valuable for our participants and students. And on behalf of Biopractify and all the attendees, we would sincerely want to thank you and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. And thank you also to the participants who made the session really interactive, though initially it needed a bit of warm up, I think. But yeah, it was really great to see all the questions of the students and also the your approaches to their questions, and a really insightful session for me personally as well.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Anyways,
Thank you very
thank you.
much. And
Thanks.
one last thing, like participants, like we have a sizable following on our LinkedIn. So if you would want to be featured on our page, so I can have a group picture here, and if you guys turn on your cameras for a small moment, then we can take a snapshot, and we can tag every one of you, and it can be good for your networking as well. So I would just like to take 2 minutes to ask everyone to turn on their cameras, like Kavita, Amrinder, Anushri, Devika, Deepti, Lavanya, M, Mansi, Syondita, Tanmoy, like just turn on your cameras for a brief moment. We'll take a snapshot and then we'll post it on our LinkedIn. So thank you, Lavanya, for turning on your camera, and other participants also. We invite you to turn on your cameras as well. Thank you, Anushri. Thank you, Deepti. Thank you, M. Anyone else? Thank you, Yanko. We'll just take a snapshot now. Maybe we can do a thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being such an interactive, audience today. Uh, Kavita has turned on her camera now. Can anyone else also take a snapshot? We'll open the group for messages. They can post there. Thank you, guys. Thank you once again. Thank you, Subham, for taking so much time. Like we took your so much valuable time today, but
No,
it was
no
really
worries.
insightful.
Nice. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
guys. Have a nice day, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Nice. Thanks.
We can conclude the session now.